I have trained at well over 1,000 gyms all over the world. Not one time have I ever been approached and asked to tone it down. Today, I was unceremoniously kicked out of Planet Fitness. We're all over this story as we bring in Steve Weatherford for an exclusive with the Dan Patrick Show. Steve, how are you today?
Dan, I'm doing great. It's good to hear from you, man. Usually we're talking football or Super Bowls or charity, and now it's grunting, man. I guess it's the evolution.
Okay, are you a serial grunter when you're lifting weights?
I would say no more than the average Joe in the gym. Like, do I go hard in the gym? Absolutely. But I don't ever want my training style to ever interfere with somebody's enjoyment in a gym. So I definitely wouldn't say I'm above average grunter.
All right, let's go step by step here with the incident. Were there posted rules about no grunting at Planet Fitness?
You know what? I was in Chicago when I went to work out. I had some meetings with a good friend of mine, Deuce McAllister, about possibly working on a business venture together. Flew in that morning, and I had 1 hour to work out and then go to the airport to fly back to New Jersey. And I didn't notice there were until they pointed at the wall and said, no dropping weights, no grunting, no drop sets, no deadlifts, no squats, no water jugs, no cutoff T-shirts. I'm like, whoa, what kind of gym is this? I just went to the nearest gym, got in there really quick, paid the guest fee for the day, and tried to get my workout in really quickly. But after seeing the ridiculous rules on the wall, I don't know why anybody would ever go in a gym like that.
Paulie, do you have the rules with Planet Fitness?
Yeah, Dan, of course. The I-Team is on planetfitness.com. There's nothing posted specifically about anti-grunting, but it says, quote, "We believe no one should feel gym-intimidated by lunky behavior whilst at the gym."
Are you guilty of lunky behavior, Steve?
I would like to think not. I mean, am I stronger than an average person? Well, I mean, I played in the NFL for 10 years, and I was trained by, some of the finest strength coaches in the world. So I would say I'm stronger than a normal person. But Dan, at the end of the day, I'm a punter. Let's be real. It's not like I'm 350 pounds. I'm a normal-sized guy. All
right, Steve, let us be the judge of can we reenact the grunt here?
I couldn't reenact it because I don't have weights in my hand.
I know,
but I would actually, matter of fact, I filmed 2 or 3 sets of my exercises that I was doing in there on Snapchat when I was in the gym, and I have posted them on Twitter before, and nobody has ever said, "Man, you grunt or breathe really heavily."
Is there a sofa near you could pick up, or like 4 people, and then we could reenact this grunt, just so we could be the judge of this?
If I was exercising next to you, Dan, you would not know I'm there.
So
that way.
Okay, so somebody just comes up to you and says, "Hey."
They don't even have dumbbells that go over 50 pounds, to put it to you that way.
Well, I wouldn't go there then.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you wouldn't even be able to break a sweat.
Oh, I'm not going in there. We're talking to Steve Weatherford, the NFL punter. Did you grunt when you punted?
Yeah, I would say I probably grunted about, and that's even if you want to call it a grunt. It was more definitely not like tennis. It was probably about the same amount of a grunt that you would do if you were at a batting cage hitting a baseball. It was more like dispelling air as you hit the baseball.
Can you reenact that? The grunting sound?
I don't have a football in my hand, Dan. I know you're trying to get me to do.
Yes, I am.
And I just can't do it if I don't have dumbbells or a football, man.
Okay, then I'll try to reenact you, and then you tell me if I'm close to it.
I will give you an intensity barometer for how loud and intense you're grunting.
Okay.
No, I had a little bit more bass in my voice than that, and it was more quiet. Honestly, Dan, that's probably about as bad as it got. That right there. And I'm trying to be realistic with myself.
Okay.
It wasn't enough if you were 7 feet away from me, you would hear it.
All right, let me ask 4 guys who never go to the gym, the Danettes. Okay, when you hear that sound, you're next to me in the gym, and you see Weatherford's in there, and he's all jacked up. He's all carved up there. And then you hear this. Fritzy, bothered by it?
My initial thought is like, how bad does this guy want attention? He's already all ripped. We're all looking at him and jealous, and now he's got to make noises. So we got to look at him and listen to him.
Wow, hold on. The survey's not done yet, Steve. Paulie, do you have a problem if you're next to a guy who goes?
I think it's okay to grunt at the gym. It's not the library, and as long as you're throwing around some real weight, which Steve is throwing around real weight.
But I don't like when you throw the weight down. Now, he's not accused of that.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that I really do. I agree with you. I think that's rude. I think, and it's dangerous because you don't know where the weights are going to bounce to. So I definitely was not guilty of throwing weights because I've seen in weight rooms before when guys finish a set. When you're throwing around heavier weight and you get done with your set, sometimes it's really heavy and you let it go. I've seen weights bounce up and roll onto guys' ankles, and so I definitely am not guilty of doing that. But
yeah, you practice safe grunting. The survey's not over yet, Steve.
I have gym etiquette, and I practice safe grunting in the gym and at home.
All right, Seton.
And on a football field.
Seton, do you have a problem with Steve Weatherford, that sound, if he's next to you?
No, I mean, if he's overdoing it, that gets sort of obnoxious. But the dropping the weights thing is really the problem.
McLovin?
I have no problem. If I'm in the library and I'm reading like a great short story by Chekhov, I'll do a ponder sound like, really loud. Same thing.
Hey, listen, I'll say this, Dan, I know you exercise, but you exercise so you can go to restaurants and enjoy a really good meal. Put it this way. Let's say you're at Del Frisco's on the Avenue of the Americas, and they bring out a delicious New York cheesecake. And you take the first bite of it, and you're like, that's as bad as it gets in the weight room for me. And it's not, if I'm doing 5 reps, I don't do it for every rep. It's usually maybe the last 1 or 2 reps when you're just trying to get that little extra out of your body.
We appreciate you clearing that up. I know you're doing boot campaigns, push-up for charity as well, pushupsforcharity.com. How many push-ups can you do?
Well, I did it the other day. We did an event to benefit the soldiers and their families on Fifth Avenue, and we did a contest where we were just grabbing people off the streets, and I think I did, in 90 seconds, I think I did like 87 push-ups, and they had this unassuming kid that was like 21 years old, came in and crushed me. He did like 132 push-ups in 90 seconds.
Oh, my God.
But it's an awesome charity, Dan, because it helps soldiers, men and women, when they come back and they're trying to assimilate back into civilian life. It helps them with the issues that they're dealing with to get back and be as productive in society as they were within the armed forces, protecting our country, making all the sacrifices that they made, because a lot of things that they see when they're over there protecting us, no human should have to go through that. And for them to come back here and struggle with the things mentally and physically that they deal with, it's just not right. It's not fair. And that's one thing that the Boots campaign is able to do, is just lend physical, emotional assistance to help these guys and gals come back home and find happiness and find fulfillment in something other than defending our country.
And the charity, the website is pushupsforcharity.com. Steve, thanks for clearing it up, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dan, we're going to have to go get a workout soon.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, brother.
That's Steve Weatherford, the NFL punter.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.